Age of Discovery by Carlos Jerome. The office of the principal of Seward Park High School on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, 1950s.
Yes. Come in, Rachel. Have a seat. Time. You'll be in your final semester soon.
Was my application for the discovery approved?
Well, there's an issue.
Wasn't the proposal clear? Miss Jackson went over it with me before we sent it.
Miss Garcia, you're a mystery. Your spectacular grades, the 2 state scholarships, which wouldn't be too unusual for a Hunter High girl, but no Seward student, girl or boy, has ever done that. On the other hand, the gang fights, your arrest, well, you've cooled down some. I've had a report from your probation officer.
Did she say something that'll block me from the discovery?
No, the report's favorable,
Okay.
at least on the surface. By the way, she says you joined a theater group at Hamilton House. May come to one of your performances.
That would be cool. You like theater?
That's an understatement. Do I like theater? Especially if you're in it. Let me know the dates. So, a girl of many talents.
Will you cut that?
Rachel, I've received notice from Discovery that you're the top applicant from Seward Park.
All right, yes! That is so fine, right? They have research scientists up there as advisors.
Yes, and if they like what you do, they'll ask you to help on one of their projects in the future.
I wonder how good their labs are.
They've got everything up to date.
Because cells aren't just black boxes reacting to stimuli. I just want to see their insides.
But before you get too enthusiastic,
Forces pounding inside their nuclei.
something bothers me, and not just me. I can tell from her report your probation officer has the same doubts. You're staying out of trouble, apparently, but your friends are, how to say, the street crowd, to be kind, the lumpen, isn't that what your family would call them?
How'd you know?
I read a few of the relevant books. Not good to broadcast that nowadays. So your sister must share my opinion of your friends.
I don't see her much. We don't get along.
We've tried to contact her. Where is she?
Busy with her jobs and meeting.
Too busy saving humanity to worry about your education? Did your mother ever consider having some other family member take care of you while she's away?
No, my sister has custody of me, but sometimes I sleep at my friend's house.
I'm sure you've got a few fascinating secrets. I'd love to hear them.
What are you, Mr. Cooper?
I'm still trying to figure you out, Rachel. Won't you let me do that?
Should I be surprised?
Sometime, now or later?
Are you gonna send me to the discovery or not?
I'm not sure.
Because?
Because I'm not convinced you really want to go there. Look at the people you hang out with. What, you think you're the new Walt Whitman? Or you have some kind of Elmer Goldman commitment to the downtrodden?
So was she.
What's wrong with the kids who like to study?
They're the ones I'm tight with, but I don't feel like a kid.
Yes, in some ways you seem grown up.
I've had to look after myself.
But you say you like theater. Then why did you drop honors literature? The world's greatest playwrights and poets?
Even the Spanish Golden Age, I felt horrible, torn. That's me. But I couldn't stay the extra hours. I work.
I had a store on Orchard Street. But you have time for other activities, like the Deb Devils. The probation report says you may still be a member.
We've all grown up together.
So you give up learning to hang out with a violent street gang?
I'm not giving up my studies. You know how much I learned preparing for my discovery project? Not just biology, English, and math too. But some things you can't learn in books or a classroom.
I'll bet. Maybe you can teach me. Is that what I'm missing? You're not our only candidate. You want to be oppositional, forget the discovery.
No, please, Mr. Cooper.
Then play ball with me.
That's your condition. It's not about scientific talent.
Events are multiply determined.
Have I heard this before?
Where are you going?
May I close the door? It's chilly here. Could we meet at the Discovery program?
Garcia.
Go for a drink? You said you wanted to know me better.
Rachel, what is it about you? You're so... Yes. Control boy! You better sit where you were. Don't think that I'm not flattered, but we can't socialize. Not at this point. As much as we like to, we have to wait. Yes, it's hard.
I noticed. You were being so straightforward.
You're something. Should I say inspiring?
I don't understand. You said that if I would play ball...
Oh, God, what kind of demon do you take me for?
I thought you liked me. Those lines you were throwing me.
You think I didn't mean them? Do I contradict myself? You're attractive. Maybe after you graduate, we can meet for that drink. I won't be violating anything then. Or will I?
Well, you're violating something today, leading me to think there's only one way to the Discovery.
I don't blackmail young women into relationships. Is that what kind of treatment you expect?
I've been around the block. So you just want me to promise to meet you next year and you'll let me go to the program?
No, there's something more important.
Are you gonna tell me what it is, or are you gonna want me to play guessing games all day?
Okay, I'll level with you. Know what the Board of Ed thinks of Seward Park High School? We're the Pits, a ghetto dump whose only claim to fame was a pair of atom spy lovebirds. You're our star, proof that we can produce scholars. Those kids in the honors class will give their right arm to be in the Discovery program, and they'd be grateful to this school.
Well, I'm grateful, and I'd give my right arm too.
But your whole way says the opposite. Your clothes. Or is it insecurity? At this point, I don't care. Look, they want clean white boys at the program. I'm willing to give you a chance, but damned if we'll be represented by a girl hoodlum. That's just the image we're trying to get past.
I'm no hoodlum.
I know how the dice are loaded against you. I came up in Brownsville. Okay, it wasn't as bad as around here. All your cousins were still down in Puerto Rico, but it was almost as bad. My mother had me, my older brother, and the kid to raise by herself. Only two of us made it through the Depression.
Did you have to be on your own a lot?
Exactly.
And your brother used to
time for me.
And your brother used to goof on you and beat on you?
No, what made you imagine that? After he died, it was just my kid sister and I.
Right. It was cold out there.
Yes. But my mother taught me one thing, the most important, something I'm trying to get across to you, how to pick your friends.
I have good friends. That's all I've got.
You think so? Listen, if I'd have hung out with the budding Murder Incorporated crew, you think I would have gotten where I am? Where am I? People judge you by the company you keep, especially you, because of your mother.
So that's the real reason you're blocking me? You want me to think my mother's a criminal? Go ahead. But you won't turn me against her, no way.
Did I say anything about what I think? What goes on inside the mind? That's your business. In times like these, it's better kept private. A union leader in prison for her ideas. The government will have a lot to explain years from now, but it's not my place to comment on that. When will your mother come home?
With good behavior, she'll get out next year. You mean if she'd gotten out sooner, I'd have a shot at the Discovery?
Her absence doesn't affect your application. If the papers did a story about you at the Discovery, the geniuses at the Board of Ed would never think to tie you to her, if they even know who she is. Most of them don't read the newspapers anyway. Robert Goldstein. Who's that? She never used your father's name.
She doesn't believe in that.
Not even when your father was alive.
You didn't believe in that either.
They wouldn't have to believe, just follow. It's the American way. Even the famous Ethel changed her name. Tell me something. Your mother was here in the 30s, right?
I don't know the exact years.
Didn't she used to hang with Ethel Greenglass and Julius Rosenberg?
They knew each other, but how well? Why?
Just wonder.
I don't get a chance to talk a lot with my moms. I see her only once a month. Even then, there's a guard watching over us.
I got this hunch. She and Ethel were bosom buddies. And if I'd have been principal at the time, modesty aside, they both would have learned a fundamental skill, how to compromise.
Aren't you back in Bronxville then? Learning algebra?
Funny you say that. Algebra was the first course that gave me trouble. I had to bust my behind.
I thought your mother taught you algebra, the associative law, right?
What do you mean, associative law? Don't embarrass me, Rachel. What, wasn't that AB times C equals... Wait a minute.
Equals A times BC. No, I mean your mother's law. Associating with the right people. Just joking.
I know. You think proper association is a joke, like my algebra.
Sorry, Mr. Cooper. Sometimes I kid around too much. I wasn't trying to embarrass you, really. You know what I like about you?
You mean there is something?
If there wasn't, would I have... What do you think I am? Don't answer that. I like the way you talk to yourself. You ask yourself questions. It's like the real you is challenging the part that's... The real you is asking what's important.
The real me?
I don't know if I could ever do that. I mean, what if people started laughing?
I don't let just anybody over here. Something about you.
And why don't you want me to go to the Discovery?
Who says I don't want you to go? You'd be my choice. But whether you go or not depends on you. Flexibility is vital. With that one lesson, your mother might be free and her pal might not have been executed.
Oh, and I might be acceptable for the Discovery program?
Just drop the low lives you hang with. Dirt rubs off and everybody sees you.
Why should that bother you?
A lot of people are hoping I get burned. I've already had sarcastic comments from the principal at Bronx Science. Henry Cooper's going to turn Seward Park into a research institute. Smug bastard. You didn't hear me say that. So why can't you stay away from the gutter?
My mother was never with me much. She and my sister had their world. I found my own. The people you call dirt, that's my real family.
Maybe they were. But don't you see you're better than they are? The Discovery is a nationally recognized program, part of the race to space. What do you want to do? Step onto the world platform or stay sitting on some Lower East Side trash can?
It's gotta be either or?
Here's a better either or. Either you make a clean break or I send Michael Denko to the program. He may not have your smarts and he's not as pretty, but he'll fit in.
Don't I have the right to choose my own friends?
Sure. And I have a right to choose a respectable candidate. Is this such a big sacrifice for the Discovery? Didn't you say you give your right arm and, judging from a few minutes ago, some other parts of you too?
Maybe, but not my heart. Friends, that's not something you turn off and on like a smile. They are me. A home I belong to. No matter what goes down anywhere else, that's all there is, not respectability.
A word not in your vocabulary, right? You don't care if people see you in Seward Park as inferior? Kind of amazing. Should I?
Should you care what they think? Was that the question, Henry?
The other me?
To value more the inside of a person. What's wrong with that? Tell the Bronx Science bastard you don't play by his associative rules. I spit on those rules. Tell your moms that...
My mother's dead.
Tell her anyway. Tell her you're crossing the uncrossable line.
There's another line I've got to focus on, Rachel. The level of education here. I'm responsible to that line.
Mr. Cooper, you know why I stayed in school after my bust? I was ready to quit. All I cared about was the clique, the Deb Devils. It wasn't anyone here who got me to cool things. It was my friends, the ones that couldn't make it in school themselves. How'd you gonna be quitting, girl? You're a rep. They believed in me. You think I would duck out on them?
I'm not talking forever. Look, in 6 months, the Discovery is over. You'll be in college. You can have whatever friends you like then. Even me. I'll have no power over you. Half a year. Well, do you want the Discovery or not?
Okay, 6 months.
For real.
What else would it be?
Now you're making sense. Then you're on for the program. Begins next Saturday.
The cell nuclei are thanking you. Am I crazy to be this happy?
We're both happy. The city will get a new picture of Seward.
Maybe you get a ticket to a respectable school. Is that what this is about?
Don't start imagining things. Congratulations. You'll enjoy the discovery. Remember your promise, right?
Yeah, nobody'll see me with them.
Whoa. I'm not just talking about in public. I mean, you stay completely away from them.
Right. Well, does it do harm if I talk with people inside their homes?
Yes, it does harm. You're inside their home and something else happens inside their home. Somebody sees you there, makes an assumption, or you get involved and you make a commitment. You don't think I know how that works?
I have no life, that's what you're telling me?
However you want to phrase it, just half a year. Now, do I have your word? Don't I?
Sure.
Good. Stay in touch. Oh, and Rachel, take a look out there. See that character across the street?
Eddie the...
The pimp. Eddie the pimp. He comes here every day looking for prey.
I know him, but I wouldn't have anything to do with him.
Maybe not you, but are you sure about those prostitutes and if not, give your friends a few years. Statistically, they're headed for careers like that. Hustling, drug addiction, you name it.
If you want to talk odds, I'll bet there's 1 or 2 of those college-bound kids that'll be pimping or prostituting themselves. Maybe they won't call it that.
Okay, don't go philosophical on me. I show you this only to let you know that I stay informed.
So what, you gonna keep tabs on me? You wouldn't take my word?
I'm taking your word, but I'm not depending on it. I get reports from probation officers, from the police, from a lot of places.
Is that why you were asking me if my mom knew Ethel Rosenberg? So you have something to tell your cop friends?
You're missing my point, Miss Garcia. All I'm saying is don't waver. Don't try to cross me. If I hear you're hanging out with the neighborhood scum or anytime or anywhere, even in your home or theirs, you're out of the discovery. And more, you won't graduate. I'll make sure of that.
Your star student doesn't graduate? What will the Board of Ed say, huh? You can block me from the discovery, but not graduation.
Try me. Anyway, I'm just mentioning that. I know you're going to do the right thing. Use your head.
Mr. Cooper, you know what you were saying about Mike Tenko? Maybe he would be better for the program.
Hold on, Rachel. Now, hold on.
I don't think I could get off from my job all those Saturdays.
Don't the stores in Orchard close Saturdays?
Mike is nice and he's clean and lucky.
Don't be silly, Rachel. You know the kind of opportunity this is.
Right. I see what kind of opportunity. I pity you.
The discovery.
Take your discovery and shove it.
Come back here, fool! Wacko. Shit. Get lost. Go discover yourself. Doris, listen, find Michael Denko. Have him come to my office at the end of the period. Now, on second thought, don't tell him anything yet. Get back to you. Associative law, uncrossable. I spit on that law, you Bronx science bastard!